Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. You alright?
Yes, I'm good. It's been a weird week. I feel for the first time, and I say this with trepidation, but I feel like there's some hope. Do you know what I mean? Like May the 11th is like potential lockdown, sort of like raising of sort of the restrictions. There's lots of countries who are starting to think about it, and it feels like it might be in the future a bit positive. Am I wrong to say that? Do you feel any hope?
I don't know. I feel like I don't want to get my hopes up, if you know what I mean. I'm kind of skeptical still about everything going back to normal. I think it's going to be a while, but I think those climbing walls that everybody has built will be in use for quite some time.
Yes, I
think
agree with you.
That should be the aim, is to build a climbing wall in your room. Build it off the side of your building.
Of my building.
Yeah. I reckon you could do it.
Yeah. I've abseiled off it, so next step is climbing wall, surely.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure, like, if you just talk to the neighbours, like.
I just want to point. Look at this. Look, I've upgraded my setup. Look, I've got an office swingy chair.
Very good. How's your back? I bet your back's loving you.
It's better. I'm enjoying working more. I mean, as much as you can enjoy working, I feel comfortable and supported by my chair.
Excellent. Also by EpicTV.
Of course. Right. So what we've got a bit of news, but we've been doing challenges on this show. So I thought of a challenge which might be a bit difficult.
Okay.
So what I was thinking of is. So 9A grade, right? Historic grade. 8C, historic grade. But I don't really know a huge amount about the sort of first ascents and what is the first 9A, what is the first 8C, where they are, who did it, if there's any controversy. I think there's quite a lot of information around those subjects that I know very little about. So do you reckon we could find out about that?
I think that's a wonderful idea, Matthew.
I like Matthew. Only you, my mum, and a few people call me that. It's nice.
The special people.
The special people, of course. Can I do the research on the 9A, the sport climbs?
Yeah, no worries. I am quite happy getting my nips into a pebble, some pebble bashing.
Excellent. All right. So you research pebble bashing, I'll research rope smashing, and I'll see you in about an hour.
Sounds delectable.
All right. See you in a bit.
Bye.
1 hour later.
Okay, so I've done the research. I'm good. I'm ready to reveal the knowledge to you, and it's going to be some in-depth knowledge. I tell you, this is. But there is a little bit of news, actual climbing news.
Yeah.
And I'm kicking off with IFSC. So we know it's like this process where they're reviewing it a lot. There's a sort of a 60-day period where they're meant to let the athletes know. But they've rescheduled the European Championships. So it was meant to be in March in Moscow, Russia. And there's 2 places, Olympic places being given away. It's now been rescheduled till October. I think it's quite good news that, because at least they're sort of planning ahead. They're not just saying, oh, wait and see. There is a date. Don't hold your breath, but at least there is a date at the moment, which is exciting news.
Yeah, very much so. And it's in Moscow still, which is equally as difficult to get to as Moscow.
Especially with the travel restrictions, we'll see. Maybe we'll just walk. It'll be a pilgrimage to Moscow.
We can start now. We probably have to start right now.
Yeah. All right, I'll get going. I'll see you in a bit. Bye.
Many months later.
What happened with your chat with Charlie Bosco the other day? I missed it. Did he enlighten anything at all?
A little bit. I mean, there's a lot of things that we kind of knew. It was interesting talking to him about how, just because he's obviously very within that system, and they just don't know day to day. He's finding it very hard to plan exactly when the IFSCs will happen within his calendar. But he's keeping positive and all that, and the athletes keeping positive. It's just a wait and see game, I think, at this point.
Fair enough. Nobody knows. No, all right.
Exactly. Have you got any climbing news?
Yeah, so it's been kicking off in Sweden. So Matilda Söderlund has made an ascent of her first 8B boulder, Armstrong Assis, in Nockeberg, outside of Stockholm. So Matilda Söderlund, she's climbed a 9A last fall. She's on a roll at the moment. She's climbing lots of stuff. She climbed an 8A plus last week, so she's doing really well. And then Stefan Wolf, who is a Swedish man from the west coast of Sweden, has done the first ascent of the Way of the Postman, which is a fantastic name. An
brilliant
8C in Kungshamn on the west coast of Sweden. I looked up at this place, and it is like it's like a boating like village on the west coast of Sweden. It looks like amazing. It looks like the place I want to go.
Yeah. I've been deep into Vikings at the moment during this quarantine period, so I feel like I am part Viking now. So that coast of Sweden, boating, I'm down. Let's go. I'll bring my long sword, my axe.
Bring your longsword. Okay. Well, the 49-year-old has been projecting the route for 2 years, and it looks an amazing place. And then one last one is that Moritz Weltz, who's a German man, or 18-year-old adolescent man, or how he's a man. He has done Black Label in Frankenjura. Originally graded 9A, Moritz has downgraded it to 8C+. We spoke about Frankenjura last week. They're still climbing in Frankenjura.
Yes.
They're social distancing, so belaying is tricky, but they are still climbing there and being very sensible, I imagine. And Moritz Weltz has been downgrading routes. Moritz, you naughty little man.
He's a very naughty boy.
I got 2 bouldering 8Cs, one from firm favourite Christoph Rauch. He's climbed an 8C boulder called Total Blackout in Zillertal. And what's crazy about Christoph is he works full time. He is not a sort of pro in quotation marks athlete. You know, he's of the standard obviously, but he's got a full job. So it's incredible that he manages to train, fit everything in, and still climb 8C. Crazy.
What does he do?
I don't know. I tried to find this out. Everyone's just saying, oh, he's got a full-time job. I mean, I don't know. In my head, he's a plumber, and I don't know why. There's no reason for that. Christoph is a plumber in my head.
Okay.
Don't know why. My second 8C boulder, sorry Christoph, I'm sure you're not a plumber, is Adam Ondra. He's ticked a boulder called Iceberg. This was first climbed by Martin Stranik, and it's near where Adam is, because Adam is pretty adamant in interviews I've read of staying sort of close to home, even when the lockdown finishes. I think he's really wanting to sort of like not spread it, not travel as much. So this is a little bouldering crag near him, 8C, nice one Adam, killing it.
Well done, Adam.
Yeah.
Still got it.
He's still got it. That's it. That's all the news I've got.
Okay, that's good. Well, it's not that much news. It's kind of like becoming. There's a bit more news coming through, isn't there? Like slowly but surely, news is filtering through. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like what you said before, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I don't want to get my hopes up. 11th of May, I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite staggered in France. The rest of the world, like UK, I think are a bit behind us, so they'll be coming out. I don't know. It's hard to say. We don't know. But anyway, let's not focus on that. Let's focus on some history.
Yes. How do you want to do this? You want to go first, or should I go first?
Considering we were just talking about AC boulders, I feel like maybe we should cover the bouldering aspect. Now,
awesome. Good, because I know nothing about this. I'm so excited to hear what you've done.
I don't know about you, but I thought I'd go a little bit deeper. I went really deep.
Yeah.
And I kind of did a bit of a history of bouldering, because I didn't really know where it was and where it was founded. Now this is a very abbreviated version, but this is a version nonetheless. So quick history of bouldering. Bouldering was essentially discovered in Fontainebleau in France as a way of training for the mountains by a group of climbers called the Bleusards. Who were first, this crew basically kind of started around in the 1930s, and they were the first crew to do it, but then they were also the first crew to like look at climbing in Fontainebleau in its own right, and they would start working the problems there. And so from the 30s to 50s, from the 30s they were climbing V0s, and by the 50s they were climbing V5s. If we then go over to the development of bouldering, went over to America, where obviously things got pushed a bit further. John Gill, who's quite a famous figure in bouldering, in the 1950s, he was a former gymnast. He started taking it super seriously. He was one of the first boulderers, he just did bouldering, didn't do anything else. And he was the first man to introduce the use of chalk into bouldering, which is obviously done like by everyone these days. Well, not everyone. There's a few weird people that don't do it. And he pushed grades up to the kind of V9, V10 in the 60s. And then huge development took place in Waco tanks in the 80s. And the V-grade system to come alongside the Fontobler system was founded by John Sherman. Now, the reason I bring up John Sherman is because there's an actual video about the Waco tanks on EpicTV at the moment featuring the very John Sherman. So I think you should go and watch that. I'll mention it later on, but it's a good link. So basically, John Sherman introduced the V system in the 80s. And this kind of takes us to the 90s, and that's when it just exploded and like people started climbing super hard routes. And it's also the decade where a diminutive climber from Switzerland, Mr. Fred Nicole, started making a name for himself. Fred Nicole established the world's first 8B in 92, the world's first 8B plus in 96, and in 2000 he claimed that he'd found the world's first 8C, which was Dreamtime, the line Dreamtime on the Dreamtime boulder in Cresciano in Switzerland. Now, this didn't last so long because in 2002, Mr. Dave Graham came along and repeated it and found a heel hook at the starting kind of opening sequence of the boulder and downgraded it to 8B plus.
Oh.
So
Dave.
Yeah, Dave the downgrader was not a very popular man, but he downgraded to 8B plus, and so essentially Dreamtime became the first unconfirmed 8C because ascents afterwards by such climbers as Chris Sharma, Adam Ondra, a whole host of others, basically, all basically confirmed it as 8B plus. Jan Hoyer and maybe Christian Core were the only two that confirmed the 8C. So it's kind of thought of now as an 8B plus. So it was left to Dave Graham in 2005 to establish the Story of Two Worlds, which was climbed on the other side of the Dreamtime boulder than Dreamtime. And that was given the grade by Dave Graham in 2005 of 8C and is confirmed. It's a confirmed 8C boulder. Okay. So essentially what I'm saying is Dave Graham basically has it, even though Fred Nicole, the pioneer, did the first 8B, the first 8B plus, did the first 8C, but it's kind of an 8B plus.
I'd hate to bring, like controversy into this, but do you think Dave Graham deliberately downgraded that 8C so he could be the first 8C?
I mean, I've met Dave Graham a couple of times. He doesn't strike me as the type of guy that would do that, but for controversy's sake, I would say yes.
Yeah, it's the ones you don't expect.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they're the dodgy ones. So Dave,
and then I imagine, this is unconfirmed, rather like the 8C of the Dreamtime, but I imagine there were fisticuffs. Unconfirmed.
Yes, that's
unconfirmed.
Well, I actually heard from a very reliable source that there was a full-on fight.
And knowing Fred Nicole like we do, and knowing Dave Graham like we do, they are. Yeah. I mean, they're combative people.
Who would win, if you had to put money right now? I know who my money's on, but who would win that fight?
I think Fred Nicole would take it.
I think Fred Nicole would destroy him. That man's hands are like fists.
And
you know what I mean?
He's a lot less like a kind of traditional boulder, I'd say. Like I think of them more as like kind of thin and long. He's pretty stocky.
He is, yeah, and you can tell.
That.
I like that too. I think stocky is good, especially with boulders. We met him last year. In fact, he's featuring on Climbing Daily on Friday. But he's quite a scary man. I don't know what it is. I think it's his aura. But as you said, he's strong, he's stocky, and he's got this sort of he's got a presence about him.
I also think one thing to take out of that also is that Dave Graham is slightly ageless. Like I see Dave Graham these days, and I see like a 32-year-old guy. He's not. I think he's in his 40s now.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he's about the same age as Chris Sharma.
Oh God, yeah, he's ageless. He doesn't look it.
He's a very well-aged man, I would say.
I love how this has become a Dave Graham sort of.
No, but
chat
also the other
rather
thing
than
to notice about that is that like Dave Graham would have been super young at that point. He must have just come on the scene and just absolutely killed it. Do you know what I reckon?
Yeah.
Like he
yeah.
like comes along and he downgrades like Fred Nicole, who's like the best boulder in the world, downgrades his route to AB+, and then just goes and smacks on an 8C, and then says, yes, right, first ascent, I've done an 8C.
Yeah.
Like that takes balls, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You forget that about him because that was 20 years ago. Like I see him now as a legend, but I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
No, and that adds to his legendary status, I would say.
It does indeed.
That's it. That's my 8C story.
That's cool.
Do you like
I
that?
honestly thought I thought it would be in font. I had like in my head I knew it would be in font, so that's really cool. There's not. That's good.
Yeah, no, it's cool, eh? I like it, and I like reading up about like that kind of stuff. I like history of climbing. Super interesting.
Yeah, no, for sure. Right, so 9A
Your turn.
wise, and this is a bit tricky, okay? And the reason it's a bit tricky is because there is two potential 9As. We have Action Direct, which is in the Frankenjura in Germany, and I know, how do you say it? Is it Action Direct? Action?
Action.
I never know.
Action Direct. Yeah. just say
Action Direct. I've got so Action Direct in Frankenjura in Germany, and then Hubble at Raventor near Sheffield in the UK. So Action Direct is considered to be the first 9A. That was climbed in 1991 by Wolfgang Gulich. Hubble was originally graded 8C+, climbed by Ben Moon, 1990. Okay. Now the reason this is interesting is because obviously that Hubble thing came first, 1990, 1 year before, but at the time it was considered to be 8C+. Now the thinking is that it's probably 9A. However, the grade hasn't sort of officially been confirmed, but if it is 9A, then obviously Hubble is the first 9A. If not, then Action Direct is the first 9A. But generally, Action Direct is considered the first 9A. There's what I find super interesting about both these climbs is the similarities in style. They're both fairly short. Hubble is 10 meters, Action Direct is 15 meters, and there's a very specific crux on both those climbs. So Action Direct, there's that move that everyone has seen, especially if you've seen that Alex Megos film, which is the dyno, the two finger or the mono dyno out on the crazy 45-degree overhang. That's sort of the crux of that route. Crux of Hubble is this sort of undercling pinch thing. And Hubble only really has about 3 or 4 actual moves in it, but they're about font 8B+, nails hard, and then the climbing above that is also difficult. It's not like it's over at that point. So they're both similar in styles, both have a bouldery sequence in there. But what's fascinating for me is the repeats, when you start to look at how many people have climbed them. So Action Direct has roundabout, and you know we've discussed the controversy with Action Direct before with Mr. Saeed, but roundabout 20 repeats on Action Direct.
Yeah.
Whereas Hubble has only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Ben Moon, John Gaskins, Steve Dunning, Richard Simpson, which is a question mark for Richard Simpson. I don't know why, it's just a question mark. You might not have done it.
Do you not know the controversy about Rich Simpson?
No, I don't. Can you tell me?
So Rich Simpson was a guy, we did a show on him a while back, and basically he was this like athlete who basically was like a multi-sports athlete, and he'd like his rate of improvement was ridiculous, and like he was like a runner, a boxer, he did a whole bunch of stuff, and anyway Rich Simpson claimed to have done Hubble, but I think there's a question mark on it because there are no witnesses, or there's like a video of it, but it's all cut up together kind of thing. I remember like a couple of years ago we tried to get in touch with the B layout and the filmmaker, and they weren't having any of it, so that's why there's a question mark around him.
Okay, so Richard Simmons question mark, Steve McClure, Alex Megos, and then Will Bosey. I was one of the first people to belay Will Bosey on Hubble way back in the day, because we were at Raventor filming with the what was going to be the Revo, the Wild Country Revo. So we filmed this little sequence. Oh, you were there. We filmed it, didn't we?
No, I wasn't there. I think you were with Matthew, maybe.
Or Johan, possibly. Yeah, it was one of the two. But yeah, I remember him trying that and getting so close. But he went back after that and did it. So what's interesting is, okay, so if you look at 20 repeats for Action Direct, 6 or 7 for Hubble, you'd think that Hubble is going to be harder, right? Because it's had way less ascents and therefore perhaps legitimately a 9A rather than that 8C+. But I think it goes a bit deeper than this, because Action Direct's in the Frankenjura. It's a heck of a climbing area. Everyone knows it's like a destination, and it's also become a test piece. You know, it's like, yeah, you're a pro. Have you climbed Action Direct? Whereas Hubble is weird. Like I love Raventhour. It's one of my favourite crags in the world, but I also hate it, and I would never travel to Raventhour from another country. Okay, I know this is going to get some stick in the comments, but it is a weird crag. It's a weird crag. You have to admit that. So I think that, and also the move in Hubble is just hideous. You know, you have to really be wanting to commit yourself to one of the nastiest moves, the most physical moves you've ever done, train specifically for that, just to do Hubble, all for an 8C plus tick. Potentially. You see what I mean? So it's like the commitment for Hubble is way more than Action Direct, and that's why I think it hasn't been climbed as many times. I don't think it's necessarily harder. I just think the whole thing about Hubble makes it less popular, perhaps, for pro climbers. So the short answer, what is the world's first 9A, is Action Direct, but the little tweak around Hubble I really like, and because I'm an English-British climber, I would like Hubble to be the first 9A. Do you know what I mean? Like, part of me really wants that to be it. Yeah. Because it's such a weird little route. I've stood right underneath it and looked at it. I cannot see the holds on the thing when you look at it. So Action Direct is the short answer. The long answer is, fingers crossed, Hubble.
But like, as in now, like, because Hubble hasn't been like officially upgraded, right? It kind of sits at what, 8C plus 9A?
Yeah, exactly. It's everywhere's like, it's considered to probably be the world's first 9A, but no one's really stuck their neck out to sort of be like, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, it's nice. It's good. I kind of like had an idea of that, but because obviously there's a lot of history kind of around that Franken-Jura hard sport climbing Wolfgang Gulick kind of period. But there's obviously like a huge amount like about Ben Moon and Jerry Moffat and that kind of scene as well. So yeah, it's good to know.
Yeah, it's really cool. And Ben Moon doing that problem. You know what I'm amazed by is Steve McClure's ascent of it, because I don't see him as sort of a boulderer. Do you know what I mean? But he did it. Well, no, sorry, I don't see him as a
sport climber.
No, I see him as a sport climber. I see him as an endurance athlete. Yeah. Whereas Hubble is so short, so powerful. Like, kind of in my head, you know, that's not his route. So I think that's super impressive that he managed to tick that. Definitely. Nice one, Matt. Good job. Yeah, thank you for the update. Right. What have we got? We got any medias?
We do have some media. First up, I am going to show you a little clip of a film that we've got coming up with Jonathan Siegrist, which is being released this week. It's about his first ascent of 100 proof in Las Vegas. His little clip.
See that there's a lot of good stuff here in Vegas.
I've seen him trying this project that he kind of resurrected and extended, moved some bolts on. And I've seen him try it over the last couple of years, and you know, last fall he got in touch with me, you know, in not so many words he kind of said, there's a few projects that I maybe would be willing to part with now that I've got this whole family thing going on. So he kept a few things to himself, but one thing that he let go was this thing called Smoke Wagon.
So that is Jonathan Siegrist, first ascent, 9A plus, 100 proof, Las Vegas cave. What's not to like?
Everything. Everything's to like. I haven't seen Jonathan in ages. I miss him.
He did say something about you in his last email.
Did he?
No.
Did he? Oh, you got my hopes up there. Thanks, man.
Yeah, sorry. It's not true.
My medias is I wanted to talk about Jakob Schubert, because we put out a show on Monday, which we followed him around Studio Blockmaster's semi-finals.
Yeah.
And this clip I want to show you is awesome because you couldn't write it in. I'll show you, but 2 seconds to go, this happens. Check this out.
I was just like risking it all, and I mean, I was lucky enough to still top it, because that kept me in the game at that moment, because I knew I had to do a lot of boulders and gave me some psych for the next boulders. I mean, if I wouldn't have even gotten the bonus on that one, it would have destroyed the whole semi-final for me, I think.
Wow, Jakob, you dreamy man.
Yeah, it was so funny watching that live, because he did the dyno, he's hanging on, and it's almost like the only point where he suddenly started speeding up is when he heard the beeps, and it was almost like he was like, oh yeah, oh crap, I've got to do this, and then he just smashed through this boulder. 2 seconds to go, matched it, boom, awesome moment, and it's a good show. So go and watch that if you want to see sort of like a very behind the scenes look at an athlete working their way through a series of boulders.
Very nice. Cool. Any other media? Anything else to talk about?
Don't think so. I got comment of the week and shop stuff.
Let's do shop stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah. Go
All
for
right,
it.
so we're doing this series of, I'm not going to call it a sale, I'm going to call it a climbing bonanza lockdown discounts. Yes, that's it. Every 3 days, 3 or 4 days, we're changing the category of it. So we've had climbing shoes, we've had, what else have we had? We've had Black Diamond gear, loads of stuff, and now it's the time of ropes. So it's 15% off all ropes on the EpicTV shop. You just enter the code ROPEGUN15 when you're in the checkout, and you get 50% off everything. So it might be a bit weird to sort of think about buying ropes now while we're inside, but a couple of weeks we might be allowed outside. Get yourself a new rope. Now's the time, because once that discount goes, and it finishes tonight at 12 p.m, once that's gone, that is it on the ropes. So grab it right now if you're watching this. Hurry up and get one before that discount deal thing goes away.
Nice. Thanks, EpicTV shop.
Providing ropes cheaply.
You like
Thank
me
you.
and my ropes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so comment of the week. What have you got?
Yes. I've gone, so, we were talking about vegan clothing and shoes.
Yes.
Mr. Martin on the wall. So I was talking about how pineapple leaves can be used as clothes, apparently. You can like break them down, use the fibers for that to make clothes. And Martin on the wall just commented, this makes me laugh, alpineapple jacket.
Wow.
Alpine
very
apple,
good.
a pineapple, just Martin.
That's right
I love
up your.
you.
That's right up your path, isn't it?
I love a pun, and I love a pun when it's as funny as that. So thank you, Martin. Comment of the week, baby smile.
Oh, we got to do a comment of the week jingle.
Oh yeah.
You ready?
Well, we haven't.
Yeah, but let's
We're
do it
doing
now.
Midway. Okay.
Mid jingle. Ready?
Okay, ready?
3,
Yo.
2, 1, go.
Comment of the week. Yo, comment.
Comment.
Just went UK grime.
Yes, that was nice. I like that. I got an aura of Spectre from you there.
Where's Stormzy
right.
when you need him? Where's Vossipop? We haven't listened to that in ages. That used to be our like staple car journey on the road. Vossipop. Don't know why, but it was great.
Yeah, there's a tune. There's a tune. Right, mine is from Vic Viscol, and he says, as much as I love the empty room looking backgrounds, you should try out some of those cool backgrounds you see on those video conference apps. You could use on-topic stuff, like mountains or climbing gyms, or just have fun with it. I didn't do that, because I don't know how, and I haven't got a green screen. But what I did do is I put some plants behind me. I don't know if you probably noticed. I've made it all flashy and nice. There's plants. I've got plants basically behind me. I've got nice light there. I've got I've got some nice flowers there. Got like EpicTV t-shirts, but before there was empty coat hangers, now there is stuff.
Right, see, I feel like you shafted me because you keep saying, look, I can't see you because I'm staring down a camera right now, not looking at you.
Well,
so
either can the podcast listeners, so I apologise for you guys, you can't see, but if you really want to see what my room looks like, go on the YouTube channel. But for the YouTube guys, you're in for a real treat, because what you're seeing, and what you've been seeing, is a clean-shaven Hugo with nice background.
Nice.
I feel you've jumped the gun on me here because I've still got coats going on. I have not made a particular effort with the background. I've got some bananas on the table. But next week...
I listen to the people, Matt, and that
no, it's fine.
allows me to do stuff.
Yeah, I'm just going to one-up you next week. Next week, I'm not going to tell you, but I'm going to have the best background you've ever seen.
I mean, if you could beat this, I would be very, very surprised, because
all right.
This is spectacular.
Okay,
Greenery.
We'll see.
Have you got any greenery?
I've got nothing. I've got jackets. I didn't know we were doing this, but next week I will upgrade my background. Okay, this is it.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's going to be spectacular, possibly, maybe.
Spectacular. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. At the moment, what am I looking at? We got your red door. You got bathroom door there.
I've got my red.
kitchen.
That's actually my main door. I've got a red. I've got my red door, some coats, my desk with a banana on it. And also I've got this key bowl with what looks like a condom. I'm just holding it up to the screen. You can't see this. It's not a condom. It's Black Diamond Pure Chalk Gold. But I just wanted to anticipate
available at the
comments.
EpicTV shop.
Is it?
I'm gonna say it anyway.
Okay.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Why
yeah.
wouldn't it be?
There you go. Yeah. Safety first, kids. Don't dry fire. Right. That's it. We done?
Go get a rope. 15% off.
Yes.
Bargain.
If anyone's watching this and they want to rehear our voices, all of these new shows are going on the podcast, okay? So a couple of days after the new show, we're shoving it up on the podcast. So everything that we're talking about now, if you fancy kicking back, just listening to our voices rather than seeing visuals, go onto the podcast, have a little look at that, leave us a comment, subscribe, do all the things, because that podcast is ticking along every single week. So go check it out.
I've got to admit, I did listen to the podcast. I listened to it rather than watching it, and I much preferred it.
Oh, there we go.
It was a lot nicer just listening to us than having to watch us as well. I mean, I'm hoping my background will, help that, but I'm not sure about Matt's. Maybe we can just make Matt a little bit smaller.
I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Oh, Matt.
Next week. You wait. Next week.
I did kind of sandbaggy, didn't I?
Yes, totally. But it's fine. It's fine. Thank you for that. All right, man. Thank you so much. And I will see you, later on today. But for the use of YouTube, I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.